Thanks very much for being here. My name is Benjamin Wagner. I'm the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of California. I want to thank Sheriff Mims for having us here today. So I'm here with the Sheriff, of course, of Fresno County, Margaret Mims. I'm also here with a number of people from my office, the First Assistant, Phil Talbert, Mark Cullers, who is the Chief of the Fresno office, Assistant U.S. Attorney Karen Escobar, who worked the case that we're going to be talking about today, and a number of federal law enforcement agents and supervisors, including the DEA Group Supervisor Chris Coleman, IRS Criminal Investigation Supervisory Special Agent Jeff Hodge, and Homeland Security Investigations Resident Agent in Charge Craig Finley, and a number of other federal law enforcement agents that participated in this case. Each year for the last 3 years, my office has issued an award to the local law enforcement agency in each of the 2 divisions in the Eastern District of California, whose collaboration with federal law enforcement agents and with my office has made a unique contribution to our joint mission to protect public safety in this region of California. And the purpose of the award is to recognize the importance of working together across jurisdictional lines to tackle important criminal threats in this region. This year, the 3rd annual U.S. Attorney Award for a local law enforcement agency in the Fresno Division, which covers an 11-county area running from Stanislaus County down to the Los Angeles County line, goes to the Fresno County Sheriff's Office, and the award recognizes their incredible contribution to a joint federal and local investigation into a major national drug trafficking organization that manufactured and distributed synthetic drugs throughout the United States. Synthetic drugs are chemically produced in laboratories and are intended to mimic the effect of other illegal drugs, and these include synthetic cannabinoids, although the synthetic cannabinoids are often much more dangerous and much more powerful than the cannabinoids that they supposedly mimic. These substances are sometimes manufactured in China and imported into the United States, and sometimes they are manufactured, as in this case, right here in California. Because they are illegal and not regulated, they can contain many types of chemicals. They can often be highly dangerous, and there have been numerous reports of consumers being seriously harmed and dying after ingesting some of these synthetic cannabinoids. Recently, lawsuits alleging wrongful death from the consumption of synthetic cannabinoids have been filed in Oregon and here in California in connection with the death of a young man from Roseville, which is part of the Eastern District of California, who suffered brain damage and died after smoking synthetic cannabinoids that he had purchased at a smoke shop in Santa Ana, California. The use of these dangerous substances is spreading. There has been an increase in admissions to emergency rooms in connection with the use of these dangerous substances, and according to data from the Association of Poison Control Centers, poison centers received about 2,600 calls for exposure to these drugs in 2013, and over 3,600 calls for exposures in 2014. Synthetic cannabinoids are not regulated as items for human consumption, and they are often marketed as supposedly legal substances because the distributors and marketers of these products will label them as herbal incense or potpourri, when in fact they are sold at smoke shops. They are clearly intended for human consumption. They're sold in small quantities. They're highly expensive, and it is well known by the people that are manufacturing these that these are intended for human consumption. There's no oversight by the FDA or by other legal regulators, and so in many cases you can't be sure what kind of substances are going into these products, and as I mentioned before, they have proven to be highly dangerous. Most of these substances were illegal under prior federal law, but to address the spreading threat of these substances, President Obama signed into law in 2012 the Synthetic Drug Abuse Prevention Act, which classified 26 types of these synthetic cannabinoids as Schedule I drugs under the Federal Controlled Substances Act. In this case, the Fresno County Sheriff's Office, I wish you were federal, but you're Fresno, the Fresno County Sheriff's Office helped break open a case here in the Fresno area that led to multiple convictions in multiple states for the manufacture and distribution of synthetic cannabinoids. Narcotics detectives with the Sheriff's Office conducted several undercover purchases of synthetic cannabinoids from head shops in the Fresno area. where they were being distributed to the public. They then worked closely with federal law enforcement from DEA, from IRS criminal investigations, and from Homeland Security investigations to investigate a network of businesses, persons, and warehouse facilities here in California who were collectively manufacturing and distributing these products across the country. The Fresno County Sheriff's Office personnel participated in Phase 1 of Project Synergy, which was a nationwide takedown targeting synthetic drug traffickers in June 2013. That effort included multiple search warrants at various locations here in California, the seizure of large quantities of illegal substances, of cash, and of assets. Our investigation locally featured on Victor Nottoli, who pleaded guilty in federal court here in Fresno in May of last year to conspiracy and also introducing misbranded synthetic cannabinoids into interstate commerce. His conduct involved the production and distribution of over 24 tons of these synthetic cannabinoids, grossing over $25 million. In his plea agreement, he agreed to forfeit over $6.4 million in cash and nearly $200,000 in other assets. And he is expected to be sentenced to federal prison here in U.S. District Court in a case being handled by Karen Escobar in the near future. But the efforts of the Fresno County Sheriff's Office did not stop there. Following the leads developed here in Fresno County and working with our federal allies, our federal law enforcement agencies, they developed numerous cases against numerous other persons associated with trafficking in these synthetic cannabinoids in other states. 4 more persons were indicted with federal felonies by our office here in the Eastern District of California last year in connection with this case. And to date, 5 persons have pleaded guilty to federal felonies in the Southern District of Alabama. 1 person has pleaded guilty in the Southern District of New York. Another has been indicted in the District of Arizona. And more federal prosecutions and investigations are underway in other districts as a result of the work that was done here in Fresno. This was an important effort to address an emerging public safety threat. The Fresno County Sheriff's Office collaborated closely with our federal law enforcement partners and with my office throughout the investigation in order to maximize our joint impact on this spreading menace. I'm not going to cite the individual Fresno Sheriff's Office employees who were involved in this effort. They know who they are, we know who they are, and they played an important role in an undercover capacity, in seizing and analyzing important evidence, in working together with the federal special agents, in conducting lab analysis, and doing follow-up interviews, and tracking the movement of some of these products across the country. The purpose of this award is to recognize outstanding contributions to a joint effort, and this case provides a great illustration of the benefits of close coordination between local law enforcement and federal law enforcement, and the Fresno County Sheriff's Office is well deserving of this award, which I'm now going to present to Sheriff Mims, who has been a great partner in many respects for many years. In my 5 years as U.S. Attorney, it's been a great pleasure working with her, and no case, I think, better exemplifies that working relationship than this one does. So I want to present that and congratulate the Sheriff's Office for their great work in this respect, and then hand over the podium to the Sheriff.
Okay, thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ben, for the immense honor in recognizing the good work by Fresno County Sheriff's Office detectives. And I will recognize those who are not undercover, who are standing with me today. And one of them is Detective Phil Lodge and retired Detective John Avila, who worked so hard on this case. Fresno County and the Fresno County Sheriff's Office don't work in a vacuum. We are connected. We are connected not only to other counties surrounding us, but to the state and the rest of the states in our union. And this is a good example about the necessity of local law enforcement to work with our federal partners to hold those who violate our laws accountable and to keep our public safe, especially our young people. This case is important, and one of the most important aspects is to raise awareness regarding synthetic marijuana, which is also commonly known as K2, Kush, herbal incense, and potpourri. Sold in neon-hued packets with names like Mr. Happy, Phantom Wicked Dreams, Scooby Snacks, and Bizarro, synthetic marijuana has become increasingly popular with preteens, teens, and young adults. They think it's safer than smoking pot and even legal because you can buy it at gas stations, convenience stores, head shops, and online. Parents need to be alert to the potential tragic results of spice use among teens. In December 2012, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration released a report showing that synthetic marijuana was responsible for 11,400 emergency room visits in 1 year. The vast majority of those admitted were between the ages of 12 and 29. Worse, the data used in that report were from 2010, when spice didn't have anywhere near the popularity that it has now. Synthetic marijuana resembles the natural counterpart in the sense that it looks like a handful of green leaves and twigs. But that's where the similarity ends. The leaves and twigs don't come from cannabis plants. They can be just about any herb, and tea is often used, which has then been sprayed or soaked with a solution of synthetic chemicals. Underground chemists make synthetic marijuana using a pharmacopoeia of artificial chemicals. In other words, when people smoke spice, they're exposing their bodies to unidentified chemicals that haven't been tested on humans or been deemed safe for human consumption. Some of these chemicals have the potential to cause long-term and even permanent health consequences, such as paranoia, hallucinations, tremors, seizures, heart problems, kidney damage, seizures, and mental illness. I want to thank U.S. Attorney Ben Wagner again for this immense honor of being recognized as their law enforcement agency for 2014. And my pledge to them and our other federal partners is we will continue to work with you. We will continue to work with you to keep our communities safe. So thank you again.